Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Behringer Technology Group's presentation on the new features available in the Dynamics 365 2019 release Wave 2. Today, we're just going to go through some of the new features, talk about how you can opt in early, and at the end of the webinar, we'll actually do a demo of some of the new features. You'll actually get to see how they work in the new system. Just to introduce myself, my name is Christina Bailey. I am a Dynamics 365 implementation specialist here at Behringer Technology Group. And just some fun facts about myself. I have over 10 years of Dynamics CRM experience. When I started on version 4.0, and I am currently a D365 online user of version 9.1. We do have a blog site on our website. If you go to behringer.net, about us /blog. We post a lot of blogs about Dynamics and about some other technologies as well, so feel free to check that out. My handle on the blog site is Dynamics Diva. So if you see any blogs posted on there by Dynamics Diva, those are blogs that I've written. I'm currently working on a lot of best practices for Dynamics. I actually have a blog series running right now. I think I'm it's a 12-part series, and I think I'm in part 7 maybe. But all those blogs are posted on our blog site, so feel free to check them out. And one of my favorite technologies in relation to Dynamics is the AI. I really want to start digging into that more and learn about it. I'm extremely fascinated by all the capabilities surrounding AI. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about what's included in the new release, when does it start, and what can you actually see now? So let's start off with what's included. So the first thing is the AI capabilities. So this is something, again, that I'm very interested in. In this release, Microsoft has enhanced the AI capabilities to assist you in being more predictive and less reactive. Sales Insights is going to provide your sales team with more foresight. This will enhance their productivity because they'll be doing less past sales analysis and more analysis on the future of their customers. So instead of asking what did they order, they're going to be asking what are they going to order. Customer Service Insights is going to give you a more holistic picture of your operation data, and it's going to show you actionable items and views into some of your critical performance metrics. So instead of digging through months or years of historical data, AI will help you with these analytics by showing emerging trends across your industry. So you'll be able to see how other companies in your industry and compare yourself to those trends. Your virtual agent for customer service. This is going to allow you to create AI-powered bots specific to your business and your company. These bots can chat with customers and provide quick and easy answers without the need of having to wait for an available agent. So this will allow your customer service reps to focus more and spend more time with your customers with their more critical issues. And the bot will be able to answer the easier questions, the questions you get a lot, repetitive stuff from your customers. Customer Insights. This ties into sales and customer service insights. It allows you to unify the data from both areas and understand who your customer truly is. Market Insights. This is going to allow you to see what your consumers say, what they're looking for, and how they feel about certain brands and products. And Fraud Protection. This is going to enable e-commerce merchants to reduce loss, increase bank acceptance rates, which can yield higher revenue and improve the shopping experience for your customers. Okay. Employee productivity enhancements. This will make your employees more productive so they can focus on other things to improve your business. The Remote Assist. This is going to help your technicians and will allow them to solve problems faster and the first time. Layout is going to provide a new way for space planners to create designs conceptually and bring them to completion faster than ever. Product Visualize. This is a tool that will allow your salespeople to show the true potential of your products by using the power of augmented reality on their mobile devices. So no longer will your sales reps just have to go explain to people how things work. They're actually going to be able to show your customers how things work right on their mobile devices. And guides. So this is a pretty awesome feature. If you haven't heard or seen HoloLens, you should definitely check it out. So Guides is a mixed reality application that's been built for HoloLens. It allows your employees to learn while performing the task by providing holographic instructions. So when I actually saw this for the first time, my initial thought was how much this could help in the medical industry in teaching students how to perform surgeries using the virtual reality instead of actually having to use a cadaver. So it was pretty awesome. So if you haven't checked that out, you should definitely look that up. So when does it start? So early opt-in, this is happening now. So you can opt in through the admin center. So you'd use the new Experience and Power platform. And you're going to get access to see what's new in the unified interface. And this is what we're going to take a look at later on in the webinar. So the full release, the updates are going to occur between October 5th, 2019 through March 2020. So unlike in the past, you're not going to have the ability to schedule your upgrade. It's going to happen during one of Microsoft's predefined maintenance windows, and these maintenance windows are going to happen over the weekend. So the current schedule for North America updates is Friday, October 25th through Sunday, October 27th. And this is, of course, subject to change. So you'll receive a message from Microsoft through the Microsoft 365 Message Center indicating the specific date and maintenance window for your organization. So this is why they've allowed you to opt in early, so you can preview and test the interface changes in your sandbox or dev prior to them being automatically updated in your production org. And don't panic about the mandatory upgrade. If you need help, please do not hesitate to reach out to us after the webinar. We do have a lot of experience with upgrading Dynamics orgs, and we will work with you to ensure that everything is good to go in your sandbox. So we'll create a solution in your sandbox that will include any configuration changes that need to be made in order to support the new features. And then when the time comes for your production org to upgrade, it's just a simple solution export and import from your sandbox to production. So it's really minimal downtime, if any, for your users. Okay, what can you see now? So if you didn't already know, Microsoft has recently announced that they're going to deprecate the web application and force all Dynamics users into the unified interface. The current date for this is October 1st, 2020. So you have about a year. So if you opt in now, you'll get access to the new features for Microsoft Power Apps. And again, only the features in the unified interface. You'll gain access to the new flow features impacting Dynamics 365. And you'll also get all the enhancements to the different Microsoft modules, so marketing, sales, customer service, and field service. And you're only going to get the updates for the modules that you're currently using. So if you don't use customer service or field service, you're not going to get those updates. And again, we're going to see some of these items very soon. Just hang in there, saving the best for last. Okay, so what can I see now with the Microsoft Power Apps? So anchoring error notifications. So this is going to, I'm sorry, the better error notifications. It's going to anchor the error notifications. So it's going to show the notifications at the top of the screen, and it's going to allow your users to click on each of those error messages, and it's going to set the focus on the field on the form. So this is going to save a lot of time for your users if you have forms that have a lot of fields showing. So they'll be able to see the error message at the top, click on the error, and it's going to take them right to the field that's throwing the error message. So for connection roles, up until this new release, if you wanted to create a new connection role, you had to do so through the web app. As long as your security role allows it, now you'll be able to create new connection roles directly through the UI. So if you're using the UI and you use connection roles, you won't have to switch back and forth between the UI and the web app. Form header usability. The visibility of the form header has improved. They got rid of a lot of the white space, and also the title of the record is never going to truncate. So you'll be able to see the whole, if you have a really long record title, you'll be able to see the whole thing. The header fields now appear as read-only, but you are able to click on a little chevron button and easily make changes to your header fields. Also at the top of the form, if you're on a read-only form, you're going to have a notification as to why that form is read-only. Is it because it's inactive? Is it because it was an opportunity that was won? Is it because your security role doesn't allow it? So it's really nice because at the top it's going to give you a notification to let you know why the record is read-only. Improved grid usability. There is improved usability, density, and filter capabilities for the UI grid. Again, they're really getting rid of a lot of the white space, and you'll see it on forms, on grids, you'll see it throughout the system. Also, vast improvements have been made to the filtering and navigation behaviors. So when users filter records and then navigate to a record from the view, when they return to the view, the filters are remembered. So a lot of users struggle with this now because they'll filter their view, they'll click on a record to look at it, they'll go back, and all of their filters are gone. So this is definitely a great improvement with views. And this is going to apply to search results as well. So if you do a search and you click on a record and go back, it's going to save your search results for you. So some timeline improvements. Users can now show email messages as conversation threads, similar to how you can in Outlook. So you'll be able to view the conversation threads in the timeline on records and Dynamics, similar, like I said, to how you can in Outlook. Filtering in the timeline is going to be easier and faster for your users. So there's new filtering options that have been added, and they're easier to understand. Again, this is very similar to what users are used to in Outlook and Power BI and SharePoint. And the visibility of the records has also improved in the timeline. So it's going to be easier for users to view activity detail and take action directly within the timeline rather than having to open every single record to take action. Some of the lookup enhancements. So the lookup fields on the forms have been updated to improve interactivity and consistency. There's an improved filter layout, better interaction with the search box, and consistency when displaying recent and pinned records. And for email changes, so image attachments to emails will now show in line when they open the email activity. So users are no longer going to have to go into attachments in that email activity and go through all those several clicks to see the attached images. Everything's going to show in line in the email. Okay, some new things for marketing. So the customer insights integration, again, using AI, Dynamics collects data across all of the apps, including sales, service, and marketing, to provide some powerful analytic displays for each contact. This integration solution can help you with your marketing interactions, data cleansing, and also using segments. There's going to be an easier setup for subscription lists in the UI. Email A/B testing. If you're not familiar with A/B testing, it's fairly common in marketing tools. It allows you to send 2 different emails to a subset of recipients, and then based on the responses and interaction with those emails, it will send a better email to the remaining list members. The layout editor, again, when it comes to creating your emails, there's going to be a new layout editor available to help you see what your email is going to look like as you design it. You'll be able to drop and drag elements into the email and change properties and apply different styles as well. And support approvals through Microsoft Flow. So using a customizable approval workflow, your marketing department can get easier, seamless approvals from management, which is going to help your campaigns go into effect a lot sooner. Okay. Dynamics for sales. So business card scan. This is going to be very useful for your sales reps, especially those that go to trade shows. So they'll be able to take a picture of a business card directly on their mobile device and immediately add the contact to Dynamics. So this is going to scan the business card and look for some key components like the name and phone number, maybe an email address, and it's going to recognize those components and allow you to easily add a new contact or lead directly in Dynamics. The opportunity close form. So if you're a system admin, then you'll be excited to know that you can now make changes to the opportunity close form. If there's required data that you need to capture when someone closes an opportunity, you'll be able to add those fields to the opportunity close form now. Products and sales entities. So adding products to opportunities, quotes, orders, and invoices is going to get a lot easier. There's also a new setting in the system that you can toggle to enforce selecting a price list or not. So in the past, you always had to, if you were on an opportunity and you wanted to add opportunity products, you always had to select a price list on that opportunity before you could add products. You don't have to do that anymore. And again, it's a system setting, so you can either decide if you want a price list to be required or not. Some common sales workflows. You'll now be able to see documents directly from the form as a tab rather than having to navigate to the related entity area. And for products, you can now reparent your products, which means you can realign your current products instead of having to create new ones. There are also enhancements made to the integration of Dynamics and LinkedIn Sales Navigator, as well as Dynamics and Microsoft Teams. So you'll see those new features in the widgets on the different forms in Dynamics for LinkedIn and for Teams. Hierarchical territories. Hierarchical relationship of the territory entity is now available as an out-of-the-box configuration. So this will allow you to better model and visualize your sales territories. Before it was very flat, so now you can add that hierarchy to your territories. For lead management, several enhancements have been made to the lead management process. Some fields in the form will auto-populate when you select an existing contact or account, which is going to save your sales rep some time. Notes and attachments captured on the lead are now going to carry over to your opportunity. Also, when you qualify a lead, the system admin will have the ability to turn the prompt on and off. So if you've used Dynamics for a while, you may remember in the past when you qualified a lead, it would prompt you saying, do you want to convert this lead to a contact, account, or opportunity? And you could pick and choose which record types you wanted to convert that lead to. So they took that away and now they're bringing it back, but it is an option that you can either choose to leave off or turn on. So I'm going to show you how to do all that in the demo portion. So you'll, I've actually turned it on, so you'll be able to see what that looks like. And your cell phone dialer. So through the channel integration framework, users will have the ability to make calls from within Dynamics and then enter call notes directly on the record. So we'll be able to look at that as well. Okay, customer service and field service. So for customer service, there's now going to be knowledge article templates. So Dynamics is going to come with some out-of-the-box knowledge article templates, and users will be able to create their own as well, which is going to save time when you go to create knowledge articles, because you'll be able to base your articles on existing templates. Knowledge management. The search and filtering capabilities on knowledge articles has been greatly enhanced. So users can now filter by attributes other than just status and language. This is going to increase the speed of searches for your internal users, as well as your external portal users if you have a customer self-service portal where your customers go on and look up knowledge articles. The timeline usability. Again, the white space on the timeline has been removed, allowing users to see more when they are looking at the timeline on records. Again, the filtering has been improved by allowing filtering by activity type. You can set multiple filters. And also there's visual indicators now that you can immediately see whether or not that your timeline is filtered. And for field service, the mixed reality guides. So again, this integrates the HoloLens technology with Dynamics 365 guides. So like I said earlier, if you haven't heard of this, you should certainly check it out. So this allows your users to follow a guide while also seeing the step happen through a 3D model. This is certainly going to change the way field technicians work. So not only can they follow a guide or a step-by-step list, but also in real time, they can watch how to fix the machine. So if they're out trying to fix a machine at a client site, they could use the HoloLens technology and actually watch in holographic form how to make the fix that they're trying to do. So, I mean, I can just imagine what a benefit this will be for more complex issues that in the past may have required multiple technicians or several return trips to a client site just to fix a machine. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the demo. So the first thing I want to show you is how you can actually opt in early. So if you're a Dynamics administrator, you should be familiar with your Dynamics Administration Center. And if you notice, there's a link up here that says there's a better way to manage your instances. Try the new Admin Center. So if you click on that, it's going to take you into the Power Platform. So this is the new Admin Center. And this is pretty neat. There's a lot of analytics in here. You can look at your usage, your users, how your users are using the system. But if you want to upgrade your system, you just click on your environment. So this is my Dynamics environment here. I just click on that, and then over here on the right, there's going to be an option to update. So I've already updated, so it's going to show that it's completed. But if you haven't updated yet, you'll have the option over here to opt in. So you can just go, like I said, you go to the Admin Center environment, select your environment, and then you'll be able to opt in. So if you take a look here under analytics, so in here you can actually view your capacity as well. So this is your overall capacity. If you have multiple Dynamics organizations, it's going to show up here as collective, or you can look at it per environment. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at some of the new features in the system. So we talked about white space. So if I click on accounts here, you'll notice how everything is much more compact. So like I said, they got rid of a lot of the white space, so your users can see more on the screen when they're looking at views and grids in the system. So we talked about the header. So if I just open up an account here, you can see the header. It doesn't take up as much space as it used to. And over here on the right, I have my header fields. Now, if I click on them, I can't edit them. I actually just have to use this drop-down box, and it makes it a lot easier to edit them now. It edits it in real time, so you can see that change right away. Okay. We talked about the timeline. So here's our timeline. Again, got rid of a lot of the white space. If I click on an item, so that's an auto post, let's look here at an opportunity. And I'll show you, if you look at activities, which we'll go to another record that has activities, you'll be able to see a little bit better how you can take action on different items in your timeline. But the new filtering capabilities, so if I just click on this filter up here, I'm in a demo org, so this is kind of slow. But you're going to see that it actually provides you filtering options based on the items in your timeline. So there's nothing here for activity type because I don't have any activities, but it asks me, do I want to see activities or posts? I do have the one activity, I have the opportunity. So just simply by clicking on that, it's going to allow your users to filter by different options. And again, those filter options are based on the items that are actually in the timeline. And I could expand these, the activity type again, there's just the opportunity close. So it just makes it a lot easier for your users to filter. And then if I want to get rid of the filter, I can just close it. We can remove it and then close out that box. So I talked about the read-only items. So let's look at a few, let's look at a couple different records. If I go into an inactive account and open up an inactive account, so up here it tells me read-only, and it's read-only because this record's status is inactive. So if I didn't have a security role, if I didn't have access to update this record, it's going to tell me that it's read-only because my security role doesn't allow editing. If I go into an opportunity, say we look at a one opportunity, again, read-only, this record status is 1. So it tells me why it's read-only. So we talked about filtering. So on accounts, if I filter, let's say I filter by phone number, and I'll say begins with 555, apply that filter. If I go into any of these records, in the past, if I were to go back, my filtering would be lost, but now when I go back, my filtering stays in place. And again, the same if I were to search for records, if I click on a record and when I go back, it's going to save my search results. So under leads, let's create a new lead. So I'm going to go into leads and say new. So I mentioned that the error messages show up at the top and you're able to click on them. So if I hit save, I haven't filled anything in. It tells me you have 2 notifications. So topic required field must be filled in, last name required field must be filled in. So I can actually click on this and you'll notice that it puts the cursor, I clicked on last name, so it actually put the cursor in that field for me. So this is really going to help your users. Like I said earlier, if you have forms that have a lot of fields and the field might be down or in a different tab, it's actually going to set focus on that field for your user. So they'll be able to fix the error much faster and move on. So let me actually fill this in. Create a lead real quick. Okay, so if I save this, actually let me, save this. So I mentioned when you qualify a lead, you have the ability to turn the prompt screen back on. So if I qualify this lead, this is the qualified lead prompt. Again, this was from the older system. They took it away, and now they've given you the option to turn it back on. So it is something that you do have to go into system settings and turn it back on. It's not going to be on by default. But this allows you to pick and choose what you want to qualify this lead as. So maybe I just want to qualify it as a contact. I don't want to qualify it as an account. So I have the ability to toggle these and select which record types I want to create. So if all I want to do is create a contact, I can just select contact and then say okay, and it's going to qualify my lead and it's going to create that contact record for me. Again, read-only, and it's read-only because the record status is qualified. So it tells me right up here. We talked about the soft dialer. So if I go into a contact record, So I see the phone number here, so I can click on the dial button. Whoops, that's a Firefox issue. I tested this with Google Chrome last night. So if you click on this phone number, it's actually going to pop up a phone call record. So you'll be able to type in the notes for the phone call, and that's going to save it right here in your timeline. So let me just add a phone call record real quick. Okay, so I mentioned in the timeline, it's a lot easier because now you can take action directly from the timeline without actually having to open up the activity record anymore. So you can see here, I have some different options. I can assign this to another user. I can mark it complete. I can add it to a queue. I can actually open the record if I want to, or I can delete it. And again, I see all of these options because my security role allows me to see all of these options. If you don't give your users access to delete activities, then they're not going to see the delete button. But if I wanted to mark this complete, I don't have to open up the phone call anymore. I don't have to, open it up and click that button in the command bar to mark it complete. I can just do it right from here. It asks me what status I want to set it to, and then I can just close it. So it makes it a lot easier. And again, if I filter, it's going to give me filter options specific to the items in my timeline. So it's a lot less confusing for your users, and it's a lot easier for your users to be able to filter items in the timeline, especially if you have a lot of stuff in your timeline. This is going to allow them to be able to look at what they need to find or find what they need to look at much quicker. Let me close out of here. So if you're familiar with the UI, you'll know down here on the bottom left, you can switch between areas. So you have sales, app settings, sales insights. So if I go in here to help and support, this isn't really a new feature, but I just definitely want to point this out because you'll see here there's an option to submit an idea. So a lot of these new features that we're looking at have actually been improvements that have been suggested by users. So Microsoft does listen, and they definitely like to hear your feedback. So if you click on that, submit a new idea, it's going to take you in to all the ideas that have been suggested, broken down by the category. So you can search, maybe you have an idea, you can go ahead and search for your idea, see if it already exists. If it does, you can vote those things up. So if you see something that, that would be a great new feature, there's an option in here that allows you to vote up these items. So it just brings it to Microsoft's attention quicker. Okay. So again, if you're familiar with the unified interface and you're a system admin, then if you lock your users into the UI and force them into the UI, in order to get to your settings, you have to click on the little tool and go into advanced settings. So this just takes you into the settings for your organization. So in here, if I go under admin and then system settings, this is where we're going to see a lot of those new features and how to toggle them on and off. And they're under the sales tab. Most of them are under the sales tab here. So some of the new things, scroll down here. So make price lists optional. Do users have to use a price list? Yes or no? So I turned it on. I left this as yes. I'm sorry, I switch this to no. So I'm sorry, yes, they can create line items without a price list. So by default, this is going to be no, which is the way it is now. So if you want to allow users to add line items to opportunities, quotes, orders, invoices without a price list, you just want to set this to yes. The qualify lead experience, again, this is set to yes by default. I switched this to no, which is what caused that pop-up to show up when we qualified a lead. And then the business card, this is another new option. Whether or not you want to retain that business card image after scanning, yes or no. It's an image in your system, so it will use space. So that's a decision you can make, whether or not you want to save that image. And the opportunity close form, that's up here. So again, this is off by default. So if you want to be able to customize your opportunity close form, you can just switch this to yes, and that will allow you to customize that close form and add fields. You can add fields to the entity now. If you just have to turn that on, so you have to turn that to yes. So if I go into my solutions, so I have my solution in here already. And this is something you don't need to opt in for. This is something you can see now. So again, if you're a system admin, you're going to see this alert up here that there's a better way to customize. Try the new experience. If you haven't already done this, you may want to take a look at this. I actually already have this open in a tab. So it takes you into Power Apps, and you can see all your solutions in here. And the nice thing about the Power Apps is you can actually switch between your environments. So if you have multiple organizations, if you have a sandbox or a dev, QA, production, you can easily switch between your environments here. So you don't actually have to go into different windows. You don't have to have different, tabs open. You can switch back and forth right here. So it makes it really nice to be able to export the solution, switch your environment, and import the solution right in the same tab. You don't even have to, like I said, you don't have to switch between environments anymore and go to settings, solutions. You can do it all right here. And if you haven't looked at any of this yet, so let me just pop into my solution here. A couple nice things. There's a lot of nice new features in here. So if I look at a form, I actually can design on the fly. It gives me a real form editor, so I can actually see what my form is going to look like instead of the old way. And the views. So the view editor has been greatly improved. So if I go in here to my views and I click on a view, so I don't have to go in and I don't have to use the arrows anymore in here. So if you're familiar with editing views, it used to be a little difficult to edit views. Now it's a lot easier. So I can just drag and drop. If I wanted to include telephone 1, I can just drag it and it adds it. And then I can actually expand my columns and move them around a lot easier. So this is a huge, huge improvement. And then over here on the right, I have my filters. There's no filters because this is an all leads view, but I can change my filters and my sorting over here on the right. Okay. So that's actually all I have to go over today. We got finished a little bit early. So thank you all for attending. If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to pop them in the chat and I can answer them for you since we have some time left. If not, you are going to receive an email with the survey to complete, and you're also going to have access to the recording of this. Okay, so somebody asked, can you demo how attachments will work? I don't know. Let me see if there's an email in here. So there's no email records in my demo org. I'd actually have to send it an email, which I don't have. It's not, the server-side sync isn't set up, so I apologize for that. Opportunity attachment. Okay. So I don't know if this has changed. I think it's mainly the attachment piece that changed was the, when you look at an email that has images, that has pictures, those pictures are actually going to show up in the email now, in the email activity, whereas you don't have to, you used to have to go through and click on attachments and open them up. But this, I think, is going to stay the same. So if I add an attachment, a file attachment, it's just going to show up as a note as it did before. So it's going to show up in the timeline here. It does give me a link if I want to open it. So I could just click on that and it'll ask me how I want to open the file. Okay. Are there any other questions or anything anyone else would like to see? Okay. Again, thank you all for attending. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. You can reach us at 800-796-4854, or you can email us at sales@behringer.net. And also you can visit our website, www.behringer.net. Again, we have a lot of great blogs on there. And you can look at all that stuff and get some answers to some of your questions. But again, thank you all for attending and hope to hear from you soon.